What is going on, YouTube? I'm Lamont at large. Today I'm in Willingboro Township, New Jersey, here to talk about the disappearance of Celina Mays. She's been missing now for over 25 years, and at the time of her disappearance, she was 12 years old and pregnant. Celina Mays was born on May 28, 1984. Originally, her and her family were from South Florida. In 1994, Celina's mother died of a brain aneurysm, and the family of her mother had fought for custody from the father, C.J. Mays, because he had a history of drug abuse and domestic violence. However, eventually through the court system, he won full custody of his daughter, Celina. Now, eventually he had her come up here to New Jersey, and this is where C.J. Mays turned her life around. He found religion, he found God, he joined a church right down the street right here, which was called Gospel of Christ Ministry, who was led by a pastor by the name of Serena Smith. This was a very strict church. Most of the adults that attended services worked for the church, and most, if not all, of the children of the parents that attended that church were all homeschooled. Very strict religious upbringing. So it would have been in everyone's complete shock that Celina Mays, 11 years old, told her father that she was pregnant. Now, since the family did not believe in abortion, they decided it would be best if Celina had that baby. On December 16th, 1996, Celina sat down with her family. At that point, she was 8.5 months pregnant, and she was due to be induced in labor in 2 weeks. Now, being that she was so young, they were gonna have to have a C-section done. She sat in the kitchen of her family's home eating ice cream, and then she went to sleep. The next morning, when they went to her room to wake her up because she hadn't gotten up yet, they found her bed where her body was supposed to be was some pillows and blankets, supposedly shaped in a way to pretend that it was a sleeping body there. They looked around her room. All of her personal effects were still there, and immediately they called the police. Now, this is the site of the church where the family used to go. This church has been abandoned for many, many years now. As you can see, it's just an empty building. Originally, when the family called the police, the detectives came to the house to question everybody that lived in the residence. Now, there was always at least 12 to 15 different people living in that home. And according to detectives who worked the case, the family was not very forthcoming in giving information to the detectives to solve the disappearance of Celina Mays. But the family, however, says that they felt threatened because the police detectives, they felt that they were pointing the finger at the family. So basically you got everybody pointing the finger at each other. You got the pastor of this church right here, Serena Smith, who was also not being forthcoming with any information. She would not let the detectives come to the church to search the grounds for any possible clues of where Celina might possibly be. All of Celina's personal effects were in her room. Things that she would normally take with her when she went to church or she went to whatever store or what have you to go outside. She would always take her purse, and she would always take her CD player, and those were both there. There appeared that there was nothing missing in the home. It's like she got up and just walked away from everything. Where does a pregnant 12-year-old that is about to give birth just disappear to in the middle of the night? Now, C.J. Mays at first blamed the family of his deceased ex-wife, saying that they're hiding her and that she could either be in Florida or in Michigan. And the family, of course, they don't have Celina. They don't know where she's at. They haven't seen her in a very, very long time. And within the investigation, of course, it's always very important to solve it as quickly as possible. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and unfortunately months turn into years. Now, just to dispel any rumors of any wrongdoing on the part of the father, CJ Mays, because there were some rumors going around that he was the father of his own daughter's child, but he had previously had a vasectomy and had medical proof, and his doctor did confirm, yes, he had a vasectomy procedure some time before, so that eliminates him as being the suspected father of the child. Now, let's ask ourselves, who is the father of a 12-year-old's child? Who had sex with an 11-year-old girl and got her pregnant? Celina's father kept, according to him, was asking her, who's the father, who's the father? She would not tell him who the father is. Finally, he threatened her. He said, look, when the baby's born, we can get a blood test and we can find out who it is. All she would tell him is that the father was a 16-year-old boy and he was not a member of the church. I'm currently walking in the neighborhood where Celina lived with her family, where she was last seen. That is the house where the family used to live, and this would be the place where Celina Mays was last seen on December 16th of 1996. Now, we could talk about what possibly happened for the next 30 minutes. We could talk about conspiracies, what ifs, where is she, what happened to her, so forth and so on. It is quite apparent that she is probably no longer with us. There was no record of any babies being born by mothers that fit her description in the area. There was no record of any C-sections that women had at the possible due date that her baby was supposed to come that fit her description. The identity of the father has never been answered. We don't know really what happened to her. For all we know, she could have went somewhere with someone and flew on a plane down to El Salvador and lived her life over there. More than likely, that's not what happened. This seems like a story that she went to go meet somebody in the middle of the night, ran off with them, and they possibly did something very horrible to her. Just one of those stories that it seems to me will possibly never have an answer, unfortunately. But if anybody out there knows any information on the disappearance of Celina Mays, you can call the Willingboro Township Police Department. The number is 609-877-3000. 609-877-3000. I'm Lamont at large, and I will see you on the next video. I'm out of here. Peace out.